I don't know why my son's screaming upstairs. I don't know what's going on. All right, peace, family. We should be live right now. Just setting things up. Let me turn this off. Got a great show for y'all, an important show. Got to keep up with the times. Like I say, you don't want to get caught in this new world with old world philosophies and mentalities, and you can't even operate in this new world that's being formed right in front of your eyes. I should play that. Yo, there's this clip. Oh man, I should play this clip before every show. This shit is fun. It's funny. Hold on. Let me, you know what? I gotta play the clip. Hold on, yo. Keys, Blue Pill, y'all there?
Yeah.
I gotta play this. Yo, Blue. So I did. This is on hold up, Instagram. This is on cryptocurrency. Give me a second. This is on cryptocurrencies.
Chicago.
His
Crypto?
Instagram. Yeah, what's his name?
Chicago Crypto.
Yeah, Chicago Crypto. Yeah, this Chicago Crypto is. I know you heard of it. It's Dan Pena. You heard of Dan Pena?
Of course.
Yeah, this dude is funny as shit. But you know, he's one of the, you know, he's hard. He's cold-blooded. He's a cold-blooded capitalistic businessman. Unapologetic, but he drops jewels, and you got to get the jewels he dropped. And this shit is funny, it's fucked up, but it's true what's going on right now. So I want to start out the show because we started out Keys behind the scenes, Keys and Blue Pill talking about business. So, and I'm telling y'all that there's a new business collective consciousness being formed right now, and I don't want us to get on last like we put on last to everything else that's around. So check this out, family. Let me share this real quick. Let me make sure I got this. This is funny, it's fucked up, but it's funny and it's got some truth in it, family. Let me play this.
I'm going to tell your kids and your grandkids 25 years from now, when they say, gee, daddy, gee, grandpa, what were you doing other than having your thumb up your big fucking ass during the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of the world? What were you fucking doing? Fuck all, nothing. That's what most of you will tell them, your grandchildren and your children. It's never going to be any better than this, kids. This is the, as I said on YouTube, the eye of the perfect motherfucking storm. This is it. I never thought I'd live to see it again. This is going to make the 80s look like a nursery rhyme, which I praise Allah, praise Buddha, praise God. I participated in slashing and raping everybody in the 80s. Legally. This is going to make that look like a fucking nursery rhyme. And what are you going to tell your kids? Oh, I had a... Now, what are you going to tell your kids and your grandkids?
Man, y'all heard that?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
man.
You know,
you sound like me yesterday's teaching.
Yeah.
Man.
Does capitalism have a consciousness? That's the question.
Oh, King Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get to these ads real quick, family. Then we're going to start the show. I see that everybody's starting to fill in the room. Let's get to these ads real quick. All right, first and foremost, I'm going to give a shout out to Riverside Tai Chi. As usual, the brother always got the joint balance formula as well as the glucose support formula. If you got issues with diabetes and other issues as well, contact the brother. He may be able to help. Shout out to King Simon. He's in the chat. The brother I got to give you my address, King Simon, so you can send me this book. But the brother got an amazing book available now, Numerovation for Mental Stability. The brother, I always say the brother just helped me out last week with some information in regards to numerology. Yeah, my girl heard the show, King Simon. She started throwing shit out. You told her stop saving all this shit. So you helped her. You didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it, King Simon. But this is the man right here when it comes to numerology. He also does consultations over the phone, so you can leave your name and date of birth right there. Guaranteed to help. Promise y'all. Magic Money, as you, of course, is available. Hit up the cash app, $ Black Magic 363. The fee is $10. Make sure you leave your email and it will be sent to you. Shout out to Copper Child Mike L. If you see the hat, or he hates when I call him hats. If you see the crown that I'm wearing today, it's courtesy of this brother right here. So hit up the brother. The brother left his phone number as well as his website on the screen, and he got crystals as well, family. And of course, me and the brother Billy Carson is going down one of the most requested workshops, lectures I ever did. Remote viewing is available. It's December 5th you have lifetime access to it, even if you can't make it that day. But the important thing is to understand who you are in the times that we live in. We are much bigger than this human body. We are non-local consciousness. We are tapped into the greatest source beyond this universe that we could think of. We are older than the sun, moon, and stars. Think about that next time you're looking at the sun. But in order to understand that, you have to understand who you are. Remote viewing, astral projection, all that deals with that. So make sure you sign up to the remote viewing workshop December 5th with me and the brother Billy Carson. And with that being said, let's start the show. Blue Pill 19 Keys, man. We started out with Dan Pena. He's cursing the people out. Oh man, what's good? We just ended the holiday. Oh, let me put my thing back up. We just ended what we call Black Friday weekend. Yeah. We're wrapping it up. The holidays is approaching. Mm-hmm. The numbers is coming in. The numbers are looking horrible. Mm-hmm. Stores are performing absolutely horrible. It's such a change. By this time, I'm used to looking at fights on Instagram where people fighting in the stores for deals or whatever.
Yeah,
none of that this year. None of that this year. None of that this year.
Some lies were saved.
Man, so what's going on? It's a different mentality, huh? What's going
on? Right.
Yeah.
Consumer consciousness has changed, especially.
There's no reason that everything else. Yeah. There's no reason that everything else underneath our feet, right? These tectonic plates are shifting. Why would this remain the same? You know what I'm saying? Everything is up for change. Everything is up for a redux and a renewal and a reset. In the holiday seasons, it's not going to be any different. So we saw that, not to take away from what Billy and you was doing, but we are all participating in a form of remote viewing, right? Everything's digital, everything's virtual, right? We are remote viewing the entire world at this time. So, I was in LA with Keys last week or 2 weeks ago in the condo we were staying in. Like they didn't go outside for nothing. Like downstairs, you seen them delivering everything. You feel me? Like people are literally shopping on their phones, and I'm late to the game. You know what I'm saying? But Instacart and the rest of that stuff, people are grocery shopping virtually. You know what I'm saying? And everything that they need is being delivered to them. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally are running the world from the comfort of your home if you were in that pilot seat. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that with the scare tactics that are going on dealing with coronavirus and people have to make options, they're opting out to be localized and in proximity to other people when the alternative is so effective and efficient. Amazon will deliver. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that we're looking at the death of retail.
If you go to Whole
brick and mortar as we know it.
If you go to Whole Foods right now, like I was in Whole Foods today, I would say about 60% of the shoppers are the shoppers that's shopping for other people. The people who got the Amazon Prime and they order.
That's what I was about to say. The majority of activity in Whole Foods is dedicated to those people who are sorting out groceries, putting them in bags for delivery. It's not people that are physically shopping for food in there. Those are speckles of people. The majority of people that are active in Whole Foods are Amazon workers that are bagging up groceries to deliver them.
Yeah, man.
I seen it myself.
So Keys, you want to add on to that, Keys, my brother?
Yeah, I mean, 2022 has changed the world. COVID-19 was really the easiest way to change the world with the least amount of casualties that we could ever do. We didn't have a World War III. It wasn't an Ebola where it was just super deadly, but it put the whole world on a reset. It put the whole world on a pause, and things definitely will never go back to what they were previously. And this really put people in a completely different space. We went to a few different eras this year. You understand me? Like we went through the beginning of the year, it was like World War III. We thought that situation with Iran was really about to kick off. And then we went into the pandemic, right? And then we started losing sports heroes and things of that nature. And then with this pandemic, it really changed it.
And then we lost sports.
Right? Then we lost sports and it shut down the entire world, which is something we weren't ready for. And then the civil rights, the biggest civil rights movement in the history of this country was this year. right? And we seen white people, you know, start talking about being apologetic towards white supremacy and finally recognizing that these things
Owning.
exist.
Yes.
And then we seen black people start talking about let's do economic pushes. You understand me? And then we start to fast forward a little more in the breakdown, or the lockdown rather, and then we get into the political season, and then Donald Trump becomes the villain of the world, and then of course Biden comes to save it all. But in between all of that, as people are sitting at home and people are wrestling and they're out of work and they're trying to figure out like what the hell am I going to do, it changed your priorities. It changed the way you start thinking about money, because never in the history of the world has this many people sat at home and then had someone inside their home talking to them on the phone, telling them about digital education, telling them about Shop Black, telling them about change your decisions, this, that, and the third. So it put everybody on a reset, right? So everybody didn't just jump back into whatever their consumer habits would have been for this year. No, they on something completely different. Things like PS5, yes, go up because that's a stay-at-home toolkit. You understand me? People start buying more plants and things of that nature. You need to make your house your sanctuary. If I got to be locked in here, this needs to be my goddamn temple. So people start thinking about their homes in completely different ways than they never had. And then the digital. You understand me? Decades before it was actually supposed to.
Keys, you coming in and out.
Future. You understand me? So and then at the same time, when you look at Black entrepreneurship, that's where you find really the biggest uptick, right? And this is something that we don't really pay attention to, because we look at what's happening wrong with white folks, but we never really look at what's really going on. What's the good part of what Black people are doing, right? Who are them entrepreneurs is making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and there was a wealth transfer in their family because of the pandemic, right? And who are them, and why were they so ready and set to make this money? How come they pivot was set up so well? So it seems to be that there's a particular subset of individuals whose mindset, whose business acumen was already adjusted for whatever happened in the world. You understand me? Right. So when it did happen, they was able to benefit greatly. So I believe that what we see in this Black Friday is we seeing Black capitalism on the rise, right? And I know when we hear the word capitalism, we think of it in a negative manner, but capitalism is taking opportunities, right? And at any point in time, you're going to take an opportunity is during a global reset and the biggest wealth transfer in history. And that clip that you played is very real, because when your children think back and they're going to be like, yo, during the year 2020, like when everybody was buying their stocks and getting in the tech race, pops and the energy surges and all of this, what was you doing? How come we poor if that 10% of Black America was winning? And then they got documentation saying that they was trying to tell y'all niggas what to buy, what to do. You understand me? How to get your affairs in order. Because there's going to be documentation this time. You might be able to document and be like, nope, your pop seen this particular post when I said it.
Right. You liked it.
You go ahead and explain to your children why you ain't act on that.
Let me ask y'all, we talking about capitalism. Let's say y'all had a store, you're the Goldwater God. So y'all got Goldwater. The store's called Goldwater.
Yeah.
Would y'all hire, and y'all got staff around the store doing all types of things, would y'all hire Mexicans to work in your store because their rate that they want to be high, whatever their pay rate is way cheaper than any Black person that you would ever have to hire?
Me personally, I wouldn't make the decision about pay rate or if they was Mexicans, you feel me? Because I rock with my brown and red people personally, you feel me? And that 19 keys is a combining frequency of bringing together that Black, brown, and red frequency, you feel me? But, I went to Mexico this year, and one thing I learned about the Mexican wealth standard or the brown wealth standard is their ability to be able to work together, not make excuses, and be very resourceful and get shit done. Right? And they can work together with family. The average person come out their household is going to get into real estate. They utilize education as their savior. And there's something to be admired when you look at any culture of people that have a standard towards wealth, right? So I can't think of a stereotype that would tell me not to hire brown people when it comes to, of course, them being able to work for less. from a business model standpoint, that would make sense if that's what I'm going for, if I want to increase my revenue and bottom line. You feel me? But my first thought would always be, how can I fill this up with Black, good employees? You understand me? That's investing into my business, and that's going to be good for my business. Now, if you don't find that, then of course, that's when you start to outsource to just find good employees. Now, we ain't gonna be hiring no white folks in there, you feel me? But it might be some light-skinned folks in there, I'm just saying.
What about you, Blue? You hiring for the low? Hiring for the low?
No, I think that, you know, if we had a physical location, the people inside of that location would more so be in line with the aesthetics of what it is that we're promoting with the product. And I feel that primarily, you know, because we're speaking about a product that is biogenetically, you know, it works best with melanin. I think that those are the people that we will want to physically represent, you know, the effectiveness and efficiency of what the product represents. Like, the employees have to be on the product. They have to be able to enthusiastically talk about the product rather than just delivering, you know, a pre-scripted sales pitch. But like the brother said, that I'm not hung up on the fact that Mexican/brown labor means something that is cheap, right? Or ineffective. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people are very effective. These people are very vigilant. They're very business minded. And I love their work ethic. I love their family ethic. You know what I'm saying? And we stand to learn a lot from them. And we are, you know, we're occupants on land that, you know, while we go through our particular identity issue, we know that they come from the land. You know what I'm saying? So I would see that as, you know, bringing our relations full circle, especially if we're reaching out and saying, oh, we will want to work with these people at some point. You know, so it fits into different approaches with us when it comes to saying, okay, we're going to bring other people of the family in. There might just be different variants of skin tones.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But I definitely want to see.
Well, I was just gonna say our strategy is unique anyway, because I mean we work with family. You feel me? The average business won't hire their family. The average person won't do business with their family. And to what my good brother Blue is saying, it's like, yeah, you gotta be people of the cloth, people of that kilt. Like, if you the family, you take the products, you are that same ilk or whatever, the ilk, as they say, you feel me, then we rocking with you. But if you're not, then it's not, because it gotta be that family type thing. Like, when I think about, and this is something that probably everybody should think about. You think about the Colgates, the Hennessy's, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Waltons, like, these are family names, right? And these family names represent industries and products. You understand me? If you go talk to the average Black person and you ask them their last name and they tell you, it still won't mean nothing. It don't represent a product, don't represent an industry, it don't represent a thought process, right? There's no crest behind that. There's no mission statement or vision. Mm-hmm. There's no history, no culture, no lineage, no sort of connection. And so one thing that I believe that we have to do, and why it's important to, you know, hire family, and why it's important to make sure that the people that represent your product, you understand me, represent you at the same time, is because you're not doing this for yourself. You're doing this for a lineage. This is something that this generation, if we're successful for one generation, then we failed, right? If we're not, if the next generation is successful, that's how we can measure our success. If the next generation. And so now this has to be a forward movement thinking people, to where we're not judging it by our success, but our ability to set up the next generation's success. So yeah, hiring family and working together, I want to think about, like, okay, whoever I hire, how do I have a connection to them and their family, right? How am I boosting up, you know, their personal economy and putting them up on game? Like, we doing a product development course right now. That's going to set different families up in 2021. They have businesses and products that can possibly be 6-figure, 7-figure businesses going on in the future. But to that point though, it's like, yeah, I hire my Mexican brother as long as that's my brother and he represents the same ideologies and things of that nature that I do, because otherwise you ain't gonna be able to be around us in the first place.
You know, the whole family discussion with Black people is a big problem, has been a big problem with us for, you know, decades upon decades upon decades in this
Absolutely.
country. You know, a lot of times people get that bag from the NFL, the NBA, or from wherever. You hear about it all the time, these celebrities, and they go broke taking care of everybody. If your family's working for you, because you know the people might be curious out there. Now you say your family's working with you, Keys. If your family's working with you, you know you got an employee got but so many times to mess up, then they got to go. Do you be more lenient with your family, or is it that same mentality? Because that's when they start to say, you changed. Yo, Keys, you changed, my nigga. You ain't the same no more. You ain't the same no more, Keys. So that's when they hit you with that. You feel guilty. Now you give them free reign to fuck up your business. So how would somebody handle that situation?
I mean, you know, that situation has definitely come up. Number one, with the whole change thing, you feel me? I'm a person that's definitely going to change. And that's something that I want you to expect, number one. You understand me? Expect that level of growth, expect that level of evolution, and expect to be uncomfortable with how fast that I'm growing. You understand me? Mentally, financially, physically, spiritually. Have that expectation. I want you to set that up in your mind. Like, damn, he about to change on me. Yes, I am, but change for the good, not for the bad, right? Because another word for change can be growth, it can be evolution. So depends on how you set up those intentions in your head. But number two, communication got to be everything. There's three things you want to look at when you coming together with family. What's the vision, the mission, and the values, right? And if you can clearly communicate those three particular things, then you're setting yourself up on a course to go in the same direction. Everybody's vision is not the same. So some people's vision may be with you maybe for 6 months and they passionate about it. But when they get into month 12, they lose the vision. They weren't really thinking of rocking with you that far. And you have to be okay with that because some people expire. Some people get cataracts, man. They short term. You understand me? But your ability to be able to communicate the business and separate it from the emotional and separate it from, look, we family after this. And also even creating it to where, look, I had it to where I had to fire somebody that was family. But at the same time, I gave them what's when they gave them when somebody leave and you give them some money, what's that called?
What,
Severance
severance?
package.
Severance, yeah,
Yeah, I
severance.
gave them a severance package and they were surprised at that. You understand me? Because my whole goal is to be fair, is to be just, but I'm not gonna let you sink the company because you want to get into a level of comfort and I'm giving you chance at the chance that I would never give somebody else who a stranger, right? Because now that goes to the detriment of the business and everybody else who is doing their job. You feel me? So you got to make sure that's really just a test. You understand me? And family at the same time. This word that we utilize as family, y'all know me, man. I look at family as those you spend the most time with. You understand me? I had a reading by a brother yesterday, man, and he was like, he read my energy all kind of right. You understand me? He said, I can tell you the type of brother, any relationship you get in, it has to be reciprocal. That you will extend yourself very far, but if the other people is not extending themselves, you just done, right? And that's me. I work and I live off reciprocation, right? It has to be a cycle. So with family relationships, if there's not reciprocation, then there's no love because one can't pour into the other and say we family. That's lopsided.
So
So
that
when it
means
comes
your love
to
is conditional though, right? Would you say?
love is, and I had this conversation. I think lust is conditional. Love ain't unconditional. Love has conditions. It has a definition. It has duty, right? The first condition of love is duty. So if you're not doing your duty, you don't even meet the criteria of love, right? And I think that this is something that people have to set up in their head to also make sure that you doing your job towards that person. Because we always think everybody doing us wrong, right? And we just the victim, we get in defensive mode, we feel hurt, we feel guilty, we feel judged. So then we get feeling attacked. And so the first thing we want to do is attack somebody else as well instead of really reflecting and instead of trying to become the defendant, we become the investigator to observe ourselves in that moment to see what we've done and how we can make this better. So I have a great ability of being the investigator. Sometimes I can be short-tempered, but it always is steeped in a logical, rational. That's one thing you're not gonna hear people say is Keys is very unrational. No, that brother is maybe too goddamn logical. You understand me? So you won't be able to argue against the point. That's not where you go catch me at ever, right? And so doing business with family, you have to set up the relationship And if you can, over communicate expectation, over communicate role and duty, and try to make it as professional as possible, move going forward. You understand me? At the beginning of it, because all of that other stuff is going to crumble. It's going to show you exactly what was the foundation of the relationship y'all went into. And in 6, 7, 12 months, and all that start crumbling. That's because that was the faulty foundation. You did not set up the structure right. So blood does not mean it comes with some automatic contract that we're going to be professional with each other. You understand me? Blood means that we would do our best. You understand me? That we will act with the duty of love towards each other. I want for my brother, I want for myself. And because we family, we are setting an expectation that you have my best interests at heart, right? But if I see something that does not meet that criteria, I'm going to have to let you know. And then you have to be reasonable. If you're a reasonable person, to be like, you know what? You're right. And if I let you go, you understand it because that was 1, 2, 3 strikes way too many. And in unreasonable circumstances, there's no way I can let you play and pimp me like that.
Definitely. Wow. What y'all got something coming up, Blue? You was telling me you got something coming up? What's going on now? Oh no, I was saying you was telling me
we
earlier.
always have something coming up.
I thought you was talking about something specific. I wasn't sure.
You got the pack?
The what now? What you got?
We definitely have we have the quarantine 2-pack, right? So it's the second iteration of our quarantine pack, which we launched during coronavirus early in April, but it has been heavily requested, and we're bringing that back for our Cyber Monday sale. It kicked off this past weekend for our Black Friday sale, but for Cyber Monday, which will kick in about 45 minutes, we do have our quarantine 2-pack available for the family. And this is all of our products, our entire product line, and we're introducing a few new key products, you know what I'm saying? And we definitely want to take the opportunity tonight to speak about why we're introducing these products, and that conversation has been discussed on this channel, but we need to reiterate it, you know what I'm saying? So there's a detox program that we're launching with this next quarantine pack. It's a detox and a replenishment, you know what I'm saying? Because oftentimes people just talk about the detox and they don't talk about the replenishment, you know what I'm saying? So it's a poverty detox and it's a prosperity, replenish. So we're taking out what everybody wants to leave behind in 2020, because of the dynamics of this particular year. Some of us accumulated things that, we didn't necessarily, or we don't necessarily want to take into the next year. Some people sat around in their house and became sedentary because they were attempting to figure things out. They put extra weight on. They might have picked up bad habits. You know what I'm saying? Some people may have been stressed because of the situation. Some people may have lost their employment. They picked up mindsets. They picked up ideologies. They just picked up things that they don't want to go into 2021 with. So we want to take this opportunity to detox and release those things from our personal beings, from our circumference, our surroundings, you know what I'm saying? And just let those things go. But you want to put back in those minerals and those nutrients into us that represents abundance. You know what I'm saying? When you bring your body back to a sense of wholeness, and you're able to magnetize, because of that particular level of wholeness, you're now able to magnetize the things and attract the things that you want to you, such as prosperity. We want to represent that in the form of this particular product, which is dealing with abundance and prosperity. So there's going to be a detox and there's going to be a replenisher. And also for the children, right, especially going into the more inclement weather months or what have you, we are bringing forward Seymour's gummies. Okay, we got the gummy bears because the babies was already trained and programmed.
No, I'm just, yes, sir.
You said, bro?
No, I just got excited when you said that.
Yeah.
I've been waiting on
children are already trained up. Yeah, it's excitement. Every time that we mention it, somebody gets excited. You know what I'm saying? Because especially for the parents out there, They already know their children are programmed. When they see gummies, they know exactly what to do with it. You know what I mean? They've already been pre-programmed to associate gummies with multi-minerals. But these particular gummies got sea moss. A lot of people have not been able to get their children, their babies, to indulge in the sea moss, right? Because of course everybody's selling gel, but nobody know how to make it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows how to actually make products with the sea moss that are palatable and desirable, right? Seven Heaven ain't pumping in their household like that as of yet. So we had to do the next best thing and get these gummies for the babies. It's imperative.
I've been using
I don't want no babies having to go to the doctors with the flu. Yeah.
Facts. Now I just wanted to give a shout out.
I mean, yeah. No, I'm gonna let you finish saying what you said. You can use what? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I just want to give a shout out to
Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Nadra, the Queen Nadra, your homegirl Nadra. She hooked me up with some sea moss a little while ago for my son, and I mix it in with his oatmeal and stuff like that, Fonia, all of that. So I just been utilizing that. But shout out to what's the website, Blue? I want to give a shout out real quick.
That's Holistic Heights you're talking about.
Holistic Heights, yeah, Holistic Heights, yeah, Holistic Heights. So yeah,
right?
shout out to them, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. Well, finish your point, then I'll ask a question. Yeah.
Hold on. I just want to finish my point. Yeah. And the fact is, we're moving into a time, whether people want to have this conversation or not, because it may be a little uncomfortable, but we are at the doorsteps of a time when they are now criminalizing the cough. They're criminalizing any aspect of quote unquote sickness, things that we might have taken for granted. Okay, your children got the sniffles, your children got a cough, right? That ain't gonna be a go no more. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm not seeing the conversation in the community, right, at a fever pitch, at a high enough fever pitch where we're like, look, we have to prioritize ourselves and our health, or else we're putting ourselves in a very, undescribable trajectory of being played with by the U.S. military with these vaccines. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if never was the time where you prioritized yourself and your health, now is that time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now is that time. You do not want to fall up in these people's emergency room, haphazardly. You know what I mean? You don't want to happen to be taking a trip to see the doctor or what have you, and they triangulate you and cordon you off and force you to take one of these vaccines that is being stored at minus 73 degrees and, with the baby fetuses and all of that up in it. So, and the nano chips and the RNA, all of that stuff, this is what we're up against. And, if you let the media tell it, you know what I'm saying? This is where things is kind of like moving towards. So people really want to put a force field around themselves and their health and their family, and especially the children. So the gummy bears are going to be part of this particular quarantine pack. And like I said, all of the other products, the amazing products that are part of the Gold Water line, the vitamin C, the sea moss, smart moss, sports moss, right? And, the gold and the silver, of course.
Yo, have y'all ever, I always wondered, give me a second. Have y'all ever, like, when y'all hear people, like, I was always curious, people that have health products and they promote health products, do you ever, offended isn't the right word, but do you ever get, I guess, intimidated when you hear somebody come and speak on the placebo pill? Like, say you got the some sea moss or some gold water, did somebody come with the sign, the quantum physics, and they talk about, yo, this placebo pill is just as good as that gold water. In your mind, are you saying, damn, he do kind of got a point? Or in your mind, you're like, man, fuck that. This is the ingredients. This is going to work. What's your mindset when you hear about the whole science of the placebo being that you have like a health product that's specifically geared towards certain things?
I would say,
I've never.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Personally, for me, if it works, it works. Right? You can't argue with results. right? So the placebo effect is basically saying that your mind is working with whatever you're doing, with your intent and your belief, and you're activating your body based on what you want it to do. You're programming your body, right? Now, the hard part is getting people to believe, you understand me, that this particular pill, potion, elixir, or thing is going to do what it's supposed to do. But once you get them locked into the belief, now your mind can program itself to activate that reality, right? If imagine this. Imagine a doctor came out with a placebo pill and he had the greatest marketing campaign the world has ever seen. And that his placebo was for an uncurable disease, right? And it worked in 30% of the patients. That means that he tricked 30% of those people who had an uncurable disease, you understand me, to get their mind to activate to cure it for themselves, right? So for me, you get somebody from vitamin C and tell them that it's going to boost their immune system. Now we know that there's some science behind it for sure, but your mind has to be in it as well, right? And so the placebo effect is basically saying that your mind works with what you believe, right? So there's nothing wrong with the idea of the placebo effect. I don't think it takes away from medicines. I think that if you ever find something that only works, it doesn't work 0% of the time and has no results and only work in people whose mind already tricked them into believing in, then yeah, that can be an issue. But doctors have utilized the placebo effect in medicine. But we call the placebo effect in like the westernized thinking about it. But when you go into global medicine, it is utilizing what's inward already. You understand me? That's part of the medicinal process. That's the holistic lifestyle. Like your mind is not disconnected from your healing process in the first place. So if you're doing it from the Hippocratic Oath aspect of European and westernized medicine practice, you understand me, where they need to make sure basically these things have side effects and they're addictive, then yes, you might look at something like placebo effect as a danger to your industry. So I can get that. But people who want you to utilize mind and body, you understand me, with whatever pill or thing that you're doing, then the placebo effect has to work in tangent with it. I need you to believe it more. You take a nootropic that's telling you that you're going to be able to focus for 5 hours. You take it, you so excited that you focus for 5 hours. It might have had water in the pill. But guess what happened? You got your focus done. But without that belief, it wouldn't have been there. So and the same thing can happen where a person can make you doubt away things that do have a good effect. You understand me? The same way people are skeptical about online courses or the things that are good for them. We don't eat certain food. People more skeptical of assets than they are liabilities, right? We over audit assets and we under audit liabilities. When we know things are not going to give us no return, it's a no brainer. I'm in. When we think things are going to give us a return, I need to become a scientist and investigate. So our people really have the backwards mentality when it comes to things that are good for us, because we readily eat some McDonald's, smoke some weed, drink some liquor, smoke some cigarettes, eat all kind of crazy foods. Can't pronounce a chemical that's in them. But the moment somebody telling me that this is actually supposed to be good for my life, no, I need to take some time and review that, brother. You sound like I don't trust this. This might be good for me, brother. Let me give me some time to think about this.
Think about that effect, right?
Yeah.
Think about that effect. So to our benefit as a company, because of our masterful marketing, we have had the benefit of cynics buying our products, right? Yeah. People have bought our products just to say this shit don't work, right? Yeah, and when you get those people, right? And we have yet to find one who came in as a cynic and was not converted to say, man, I bought y'all shit, you know what I'm saying? With the intention of getting on here and saying how much bullshit it was. And those same people be like, but the shit works and I'm amazed and thank you and such, right? So when you have the ability in a community such as this, right, to have cynics as customers that have been converted to believers, you know what I'm saying? And true clients, because a true client is one that goes forward, you know, and spreads the word, tells the good news now, right? Does the legwork for you and let somebody else know, look, this is an effective product. You need to get involved. You should tap in, right? When your conversion rate is as high as ours when it comes to the products, then it's like, you know, you kind of dismiss the whole idea of a placebo because we make very bold claims with the products and it holds up to it. And as you can attest, you know what I'm saying? There's things that
Customers make even bolder claims. That's the
I
thing.
was about to, that's what I was about to tell. That was about to say, as
Bolder
he can
claims.
attest to, you know, clients and customers come back and tell us even more things that we didn't even know about the product. Like, wow, it does that as well. Oh, that's $1 billion industry. Migraines is $1 billion industry. Addiction is a multi-billion dollar industry. Inflammation, right, is a multi-billion dollar industry. Right? We deserve a lot more credit from the community than we get. But that's okay. You know what I'm saying?
No, but see, like I said, though, that's all good. It's like with nootropics, right? I love the concept of nootropics. And a lot of this is like re-education. So one of the differences between, I would say, us and, you know, some people who are in the health supplement, nootropic, mineral, global medicine spaces, they don't know what they're talking about. They haven't done research. So if you ask them about the product, they can maybe state the ingredients, but they can't tell you what it does. They can't tell you some of the history and the usages and the dosages of it and things of that nature. And so it's like, sometimes it's the re-education process that allows people to have a greater level of faith in it as well. If you think about the brain, we was always taught that we don't use 100% of our brain. We only use 10% of our brain, right? That was just something that was told. It's never actually been a scientific fact ever, right? But we passed it down and people believed it, so on and so forth, right? So a lot of people will utilize that in marketing to say, hey, you can use more percentage of your brain. It's not that you're not using all of your brain, you're just not using it at a high level, right? If you got a computer, you don't ever just use 10% of your computer, but when it's only at 10%, some of the functions start to move slow. You understand me? Because it's on trying to save battery because they don't have enough electricity to power everything. So your brain is similar to that same thing. You're using 100%, but you don't have a high enough voltage in your brain to power up the full function of it at a high vibrational level. So if we look at the movie, Limitless. The movie Limitless was based off smart drugs, right? And such as modafinil and a multitude of other different drugs that people were utilizing. And during that time, that was not anything that Black people more so knew about. We knew about Adderall and things of that nature. You take you some Adderall and you get you a little focus on that. And of course, that has a multitude of side effects, right? And today, what we decided to do in this space is look up different things that are natural, but that's going to stimulate that brain processing even more, right? So when we put together lion's mane and we start studying all the particular mushrooms that's around the world, and lion's mane, what it does is it goes and remyelinates the sheath on the axons and your dendrites in your brain. So essentially, let's say you've been smoking weed your whole life, you done lost a lot of brain cells. The way you've been eating, you done lost a lot of brain cells. You understand me? So your memory is not as sharp, right? Your mental acuity, you may be taking in a lot of information, but you're not holding it, and you definitely don't have access to it. So at the age of 25, your brain function changes, right? You got to stimulate that hippocampus area of the brain in different ways. It was another old thing. They say you couldn't teach an old dog new tricks. And then they found out that that's not true. You just have to find new ways to teach that old dog.
That's true.
You understand me? So now we're here at this particular point of junction in time as teachers saying that, wait a minute, as teachers, as we giving you knowledge, I don't want to give you a course and you can't focus. I don't want to give you knowledge and then you can't retain the information. So now we got a holistic component to it. Is not only we gonna teach you the information, I'm gonna give you the smart pill so you can focus for 5 hours straight and retain the information that you just took in. And then sometimes you got the CBD with the cannabinoids. Mm-hmm. People want to get off anything that you're addicted to. I don't care if you love weed and you praise it as God. If you're addicted to it, you don't want nothing to have control over you. And every human being is different. So when somebody feels like there's an impediment for something that they're taking, that there's a vice, they're going to figure out some sort of way to replace that, right? And luckily, we've been able to give people these things that give them back their brain and their willpower, so that they can let go of the things that they say that they don't want or need, or anything that they feel has a grasp or control over them. And what we're really trying to do is give you back your choice and your option, because when something controls your will, in your mind, it is your slave master. And there are no degrees to slavery.
Facts, my brother. Facts. Yo, Keys, let me show you this real quick. When my son was younger last year, he was wearing the, you can see that? You can see that?
Yes, sir. I see that.
You serious blow with the crown on? Rocking the crown.
Hey, I told him one size fits all. They ain't believe it.
Look at it. You know what I'm saying? He had the crown on. Yo, Keys, I tell you, I think I was the first person on the East Coast with the crown, man.
Yeah, man. You definitely reached out at a time, man.
Yo, when I brought it to New York, motherfuckers was like, they was like, yo, where you get that from?
Yeah.
He was like, yo, what's that? I was like, yo, this dude 19 Keys on Instagram, man. You got the crown. Huh?
You was before us?
Man, I put y'all on, man. I put y'all on, man. I put you in Red on, but I don't think you was in New York at the
video,
time.
the Cambada video.
Yeah, the Black Magic. Yeah, the Black Magic video. Yeah. I had it since the Black Magic video. Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. You have popped out for the Black Magic video. We like, what's that, homie?
Yeah, man. But yeah, shout out to you've been doing being. I've been seeing your elevation, Keys. It's a good thing to see in the young black brother out here. You know what I'm saying?
You gave me my first
Keys, if you
radio
can.
hit.
You speak about the wealth standard.
Say that again, sir.
Keys,
Yes, sir.
can you speak to them about the wealth standard real quick? You know what I'm saying? Because you also have that powerful vehicle. I don't know if you guys still got the sale extended, but that's a vital asset. You know what I'm saying? Can you talk on that?
Yes, sir. For the wealth standard, and for those who not familiar with myself, I do go by 19 Keys. That represents, truth and knowledge for a short statement. And one of the things that we do is we teach the standards towards wealth and how to apply it. Number one, there's two main ways that's guaranteed towards wealth. That's life insurance and real estate, right? There was 3.6 billion acres in Southern land that was lost because Black people did not have wills. And it went up to auction and we lost billions of dollars worth of assets because we didn't have our affairs together and in order. So sometimes we do the right thing, but we don't know how to maintain and control our assets, right? Sometimes we've seen our grandma get into stocks, but she didn't pass that down to our mother and our mother didn't pass it down to us. And so we never got into it. We was weary of it and we missed on every single opportunity for our entire lives to build generational wealth. And what I've done, I decided to go look at every particular standard of different cultures around the world and how do they build wealth. And one that I've identified that I think is a good one that we should take a close look at is the Asian community, right? If you look at the Asian community, who has the highest grossing income in America? Oftentimes, we look at this racial consciousness and this race that we have with white folks, not realizing that them Asians is running a little faster. You understand me? And they are the highest grossing income, specifically the East Indian household. The East Indians actually are the ones who hold the most gold in the world. You don't have to tell the East Indians that the dollar is going to fall and you need to store your money in gold to protect your assets. That's something that they grow up knowing, right? That, oh, I need to have some jewelry. I need to have some gold. Why? Because that's just how you store money. It's just a simple, basic principle, right? Towards financial management that they learn. 50% of America is illiterate, and that number is considerably higher in the Black community. 90% of crimes are money-based, right? So if we focus just on equity alone, we can decrease the recidivism rate going back to prison and going to prison, right? If we look at the education model that we believe indoctrinate our children into a public system, right, so they can become public property, well, we need to be able to give them a private education so that they can learn how to move in this world. And without us being able to give them that private knowledge and that private education on finances, how to diversify your portfolio, how to get into stocks, how to make money on both sides of the market, if it goes up or if it goes down. I want to know how to make money. We got a new class that's teaching families basically a skill set where you guaranteed to make money on a daily basis. You understand me? Regardless of what the market is doing. If the market crashed like it did this time, you understand me? Then your money will go up. The money is constantly losing value because of inflation. And most of our people don't understand inflation. We was taught by the Wu-Tang Clan, cash rules everything around me. Now understanding that cash is trash. You understand me? So I take that cream and I put the K on it. It's knowledge rules everything around me. You know what I'm talking about? Because you understand that you're ruled by what you don't know, and it costs way too much. So we basically created a checklist of standards and things in order, like if you wanted to have your family together, and this is something I want you all to ask yourself. Have you done every single thing to realize your dreams and make sure that your children are set up for their financial future, where they won't need a college professor and they won't need a banker to set them up? Press 1 if you believe that you've done that already. But you got everything together, all your affairs. So if you died today and you dropped on this earth, they good. They future is just set and straight. See, if we go truly be honest, we know we ain't doing that. But see, here's the thing. Once you know, now you become guilty, right? Because if you don't do those things and you go back to your child and you look them in the eye and say, I love you, you lying. Because love is a duty. So how do you love them if you haven't done everything that you possibly can to set them up, but you let go, leave them in this world, go so that they can go fend on their own when you could have gave them all of the skill sets and knowledge right in the household before they left? So our goal is to eliminate the excuses of Black America by providing all of the solutions and the knowledge. So I work with my good brother, Chris Cole, who's been day trading for over 10 years. He's the first Black man on the publicly listed company to IPO, right, to go public. And he's made millions of dollars in the crypto space, and he's been sharing information with me, and I've been sharing the information with the people in the platform. So right now we have courses that range from anything from stocks, business mastery, product development, Forex. We have Autobots that's coming out for the auto trading. We teach business theory, mindset, history of the money markets, insurance with the infinite banking infinite banking systems with life insurance, so you don't need the bank. You understand me? Credit. Really, it's so much in there. It's ridiculous at the moment. Like, and what we set up right now for this Black Friday and throughout this weekend, and we closing the Wealth Standard Tuesday because we gave a lot of people opportunity to tap in, is that you can get in just at $250 just to get into the Wealth Standard itself with all of our courses. And that's because it's 75% off. It's usually $1,000, so people have been paying that. And we have a futures trading program which trades futures and bonds and options. And our students can get traded up to get funded up to $250,000 in 15 trading days, right? Learning the skill set that they knew nothing about. Some of our students have made already $250,000 just since April. We funded up to $2 million in our students' trading accounts, utilizing other people's money, right? And so the things that we've taught Black America, the things that we've done this particular year, I tell everybody I was making a sacrifice because I had to take a step back on my own spiritual development for my financial development, because I understood that Black America was going to be in the midst of the greatest wealth transfer in history, and somebody had to be out front of that, not just consoling the people because we missing out, but making sure we getting ours. So we got ahead of the race. We've been in the game, and the testimonials from our students have been amazing. This is more than a course. This is a transformation. You understand me? I looked at, when I first got in this game, I know I caused a little hoorah, you know, speaking on the conscious community. And it was because I believe what I said. You gonna make me revisit the bar. Hey, look, man, my brother called me, man. My brother called me. He was upset, man.
Now you don't gotta repeat it.
but essentially, I wanted us to turn to a solution.
I got the phone calls.
That's what it was about. It was turning into a solution.
And what did I don't know. I don't know if anybody on this line is the people that I might have communicated this to, but my response was that, well, I trust 19 Keys. So if he said that, he didn't say it with malice. He must have a plan for how to take it from one place to another, right? So I have enough confidence in the young brother to know that he's not saying that out of hatred or malice. It's an observation and it has some truth to it. So let's see what comes out of it. You know what I'm saying? And I can personally say, you know, what I have witnessed with the Wealth Standard, it has transformed people's lives 1,000,000 times over, right? In this short span of time that we're in within, you know, that we call 2020, you know, the people that have tapped into that resource are indelibly thankful. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of information that has been exchanged through the wealth standard. You know what I mean? And the bad rap that the conscious community, especially the leadership of the conscious community, often gets is that we don't teach or prepare people for financial stability, you know, and wealth transfer with their families and all of these things. And when that information did come into this community, a lot of people got stung. You know what I'm saying? So it left a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth, but you can't, you know, it's almost impossible to abandon it altogether to say we just gonna focus on history or metaphysics or just health and totally ignore wealth. You know what I mean? Because the ability to do for self is gonna be a necessary, you know, component in order for us to leapfrog and do all of these great things that we're talking and thinking about. You know what I mean? So it's a vital piece of the puzzle.
Let me ask you, I noticed when I was young, whenever I got a major, because we're talking about consciousness and spirituality, and we're also talking about finances. And some may say they're one and the same. But what I noticed when I was young was when I got major upgrades spiritually, and I was really tapped in, you know, reading, like really tapped into whatever I was doing, my finances would take a hit. Every time I got a major upgrade, I noticed, because my focus completely left that and went to just, you know, I was more interested in knowing who I am.
Right.
I noticed this year was the first year where I got a major upgrade this year. Blue Pill been talking about Corona rising. I mean, I got hella upgrades this year, but the same thing didn't happen to me for like the first time. Like I didn't take a hit financially. And I was like, damn, thank you. I was like, because it gets to the point where you scared. You like, damn, I really got to go into this knowledge, whether I take this hit or not. But this year, it ain't happened. I was like, see, the shit can happen. I could get upgraded spiritually and financially at the same time, man. But has that ever happened to y'all when y'all like was really deep in the studies? Like you noticed, like financially, it was just downhill for y'all?
I mean, that does go hand in hand, and it's a money frequency, right? You understand me? Like we talked about this in the first interview I did with you. You feel me? The secret to selfishness. You feel me? That when you selfish and you focusing on self, you understand me? And you focusing on money, that's all you gonna bring to you. That's all you gonna track. That's the only algorithm that you bringing into you. It's like if you go on Instagram and you only looking at pictures of donuts, you understand me? And the algorithm go what? Try to feed you nothing but those pictures, nothing but what you like. But then you start looking up, boxing matches. You understand me? Then the algorithm go start throwing in some boxing matches for you. You understand me? So the amount of the donut content that they put in there going to decrease. The same thing happens with our mind on a daily basis. So for me, it was when I'm just focusing on money, the money coming, right? But when I'm not focusing on the money and I start getting into a deeper study and things of that nature, that's why I knew this year, I said, oh, this will have to be a sacrifice. I'm not going to always be able to be in my deeper metaphysical high level observation mode. I can, but I have to turn it over this way. And it was Blue Pill that told me don't stop and do it this year. He said, just keep going because it's what the people need. And so the reason I think it also benefited this year to where it wasn't so split is because consciousness is one of those things that's getting people paid now. It's now an industry, right? The digital education realm is an industry. The digital education is going to be about what they say, 13 something billion dollars in a year. And this has sped up. That was estimates 2019. Now the digital education space, the educators that are online are competing with college institutions because their classes are on Zoom too. You understand me? So now it's not the studies that you all are doing and not taking away from your finances, they're adding to. So you can go learn something of some deep knowledge, and then you have people paying you for the things that you study and that you learn that you're interested in. So what you found is emergence in this lane. If I look at the top sectors that Black people are in, if you go to any market, you go look at food, you go look at art, you go look at clothing, you're going to look at beauty, you're going to look at, what was another one? Healthcare products, right? Such as supplements. And then when you get into the digital realm, you're going to look at financial education, and you're going to look at spiritual consultation. right? Those are going to be some of the main industry that you're going to find an average Black person in, period, right? But these industries, especially for 2020, you're talking about we're actually now in the budget of our people. We weren't in the budget of our people at first, right? So now that they can't go outside and go spend all that money at the club, right? They need to be fed some different way. So now we in a budget. That's the difference. People got a budget for consciousness today.
That's it.
Right.
People have a budget for consciousness. Right. Go ahead, Blue.
Think about this, right? Think about the catechisms that people utilize when they're talking about getting to the bag. They be like, yo, I'm 10 toes down, or I got it out of the mud, right? Which says that what? In order for a person to really dig in and get into their finances, they have to be grounded, right? They got to be a Nepturian. They have to be to the earth. Normally, spirituality has you ethereally all the way out into the planes. Nobody ever was like, I got it out the air. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's like, I pulled it out the clouds. Like, that's not the conversation that you hear. You feel me? There's a rudimentary approach. Yeah, you got to bring it back to earth. So with this virtual, right, push it brought the air to earth. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. So now that people are, like he said, now that people are home, they have to explore their own universe. They're like, I need to learn something more about myself. How do I do it? I'm going online, which is an air frequency, right? But I need to know about spirituality. I want to ground myself, and there's an economy that's based around it. It's an industry that's based around that. Virtual teaching. People got time. They're like, all right, I can hear all this deep shit now. You feel me? I got time today. So our time has come. And for those that have been properly positioned, then they're benefiting, they're profiting from it. You know what I'm saying? They see the benefits of it, So consciousness, it's time in the limelight, if you will, has finally arrived. And the people who are properly prepared to take advantage of that are benefiting finally, right? They're able to benefit from all of the hard work. And it's kind of bittersweet, you know what I'm saying? Like I know that we're looking at the master teachers who didn't make the shift, right? Some of them are not here to smell their roses, you know what I'm saying? Some of their work has outlived and superseded them. Some of them had the best year of their lives and they're not here to bear witness to it or benefit from it. They were 20 years ahead of themselves.
Happy belated to
you know what I mean? And there was no economy that was built around. Yes, happy belated to our brother Bobby Hemmett. Happy belated Dr. Sabi. Imagine if Sabi was here for the CMOS boom, he'd have did numbers like Super Cent on Black Friday.
That man be a billionaire. He couldn't speak in all
you know
that.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, Sabi, man, listen, oh man.
Couldn't even spend all of that, right? He couldn't even be able to spend all of the bread that he would be touching at this particular point. So that just shows you, it's about timing and it's about positioning. You know what I'm saying? Everything has its time. These cycles are shifting and moving. And, like take us, for instance, Goldwater Corp as a business, right? We were positioned because we were already on point in terms of the conversation. We was already on code. We already had momentum in regards to we were out speaking this message before it became, the popular message. So people were able to already tap into a frequency that they was like, when I have time, I'm gonna get around to that. Then when the time came, you know what I'm saying? And they had to look, they're like, okay, that was already, in my peripheral. So let me tap in now. Let me figure out, you know what I'm saying, how I could get involved with this conversation. And we were able to convert that.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember.
So
I don't know if you remember, Blue, but my first interview with Keys, when Keys came to the East Coast, you was just leaving the basement and Keys was coming in the basement. And I think you might have stayed. Was it that first interview? I remember I think your first conversation about Goldwater, one of the first ones was in my basement because you had the in the blue bottle. And I think I didn't even know Keys was on anything metaphysical at that time.
Oh
and
man.
Keys kind of started dropping it. And he's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I know about the gold water, this and that. We was talking about how Jay-Z was talking about liquid gold for his baby or whatever. But I remember that. So when I see where y'all at today, I remember that conversation. And I remember that's when I first met Keys, because before then I bought it, but he was
right in your
on the West
basement,
Coast.
huh?
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'll be a witness to
That's the Bezos basement, man. That's the Bezos basement, man. That's the
man. Yeah, but
it was
that's
all
dope,
a
man.
dream.
You know, you
Listen, something that's talked
a
about
few bricks
often.
in your basement and go to Smithsonian.
Man, wow. Something that's talked about often in terms of, we trying to get our people to be more business minded, in terms of doing for self and not depending on a system that has no love for them or no intentions, and to getting them where they need to get. They want to keep them at a certain position. So people talk about working hard. Some people say, yo, there's a 4-hour work week book. You don't have to work hard. I want to read something. I want to see if y'all agree with it. This is from who is this? This is Richard Bartlett, The Physics of Miracles. This is a metaphysical book. I've been had it, but I just happened to run by it today. So I said, let me ask Keys and Blue Pill this. The quantum, you can hear me, right? And can you hear me good?
Yes, sir.
All right. The quantum conundrum, as I stated previously, is that the less you do, the more you have. This is opposite to how most people live their lives. Most of us have been taught that if we want to get ahead, we have to work harder and longer. I worked as a doctor for 20 years, or for 6 days a week. I can tell you without hesitation that the more you work, the less you have. To work smarter, not harder, isn't much better. It makes no difference how smart you are. It's really about how creative and innovative you are with your time and energy. So if I were to put this in an equation, it might look something like this. Energy multiplied by creativity divided by time equals innovative output. This means that when you find ways to use more energy in less time, innovative dividends become the well-deserved results. What's your thoughts on what this gentleman, Richard, anybody that's interested, Richard Bartlett, physics?
Yeah, I actually had a conversation on this yesterday. We was talking about effectiveness and what was the formula for effectiveness, and it's means times access. And kind of go through the different industrial revolutions when you look at effectiveness, right? Number one, effectiveness is measured basically by being able to go longer distance in a shorter amount of time, right? And basically being able to use less energy to go a longer distance in a shorter amount of time. So what happened is, and especially right now, the means that we have right now, the greatest means that anybody can ever use is their imagination, right? And this is something that we don't always do, right? A lot of us, when you're in a poverty-based mindset, you stuck with your eyesight instead of what your mind has. You understand me? That if you can ponder it, it can be. And your imagination doesn't have to be rational, right? You can think things beyond the borders of your construct and your existence that make absolutely no sense to you at the moment, and then you can work to bring it into fruition. So when I think about things like that, number one, how do you grade, right, the measurement of constructing something in your imagination, right? There's no real time in there, right? There's no cost in there when it comes to your imagination. The effectiveness of imagining an entire world and then working till it becomes into fruition is different than having to work everything step by step and not knowing what the vision is. So for me, I believe that everything that I've done is because of that formula that you speak on when you're talking about creativity. And a lot of us don't have creativity, and that's what we call the AI proof skill. One of those skills, regardless of artificial intelligence it's not going to be able to operate in imagination and full scale creativity. And creative capacity is the access right now. And with the internet being the means which you can publish your thought process to thousands of people, to where we operate in a sharing and a zero cost margin economy. And zero cost margin basically says that my cell phone bill is $100, but when I get on Instagram, it costs me nothing and I can reach 1 million people, right? At zero cost to me, no margin whatsoever. So now what you're looking at is a complete boom to where I can get as creative as possible as I want to. It's not about how hard I work. right? It's not about how smart I work, how creative. I can watch one man throw up 100 posts on Instagram, and then I could think of something creative that gets drastic, way much more effective, because not only my product might cost more and I can get more people to see it, but this person worked harder and they work smarter. They put together a whole system and construct, and they had a whole team, and they had ads, and they had strategies. And I was just sitting there chilling, right? They say if you know, what was the quote about hiring a lazy person? Because they go figure out a faster way to get things done, right? So when you want to become more effective and you don't want to put in all that work, now you're going into the inner recesses of your mind. So you go do that creative work, right? And that's when you in your flow, because that's when you tapped into that super intelligence, right? To where your brain is basically filtering invalid and valid information. There's no such thing as a lucky guess. That's your supercomputer consciousness, right? So when we talking about creativeness, you talking about somebody pulling something that really is a mathematical formula out the universe, and that coming to their prefrontal cortex, and they focus on that. And when they deliver it to the world as a concept, they say, God damn, this genius, how long did it take you to come up with this, right? But we know that thought is faster than light. So I couldn't even explain to you how fast this actually conjured in reality, because in that fourth dimension of time in my mind, maybe that was 1,000,000 years, who knows? But I got it in a split second when I brought it down to you. So when it comes to utilizing creativity, while yes, it may take one person 100 hours, right? Another person may figure out how to condense it down in 4 hours. You figured out how to condense it down to one thought, right? And then you took your means and you applied it in the best way possible. And there's no measurement currently for the rate of creativity in which Black entrepreneurs specifically are finding their success. They don't have a measurement for it right now. I talked about my brother made $1 million yesterday. I won't talk about my numbers. You know what I'm talking about? But my brother made $1 million yesterday because of his creativity. Brother ain't sweat. He wasn't working all day, right? He found a creative way. And a lot of these things be so natural and on instinct that you got to go sit down and reverse engineer your own concepts, because they will just come into you creatively, right? And so everybody be looking like, Keys, tell me how you do your marketing, your branding.
You don't even know.
And I don't know until I got to start thinking about it like, damn, how did I do that? And then I start breaking it down like, damn, this was cold, this process that I did, and didn't even realize you created a brand new system for things to get done. And then you take that, and here's the more creative thing. So let's say I make $100,000 in a day on a product or a course or a service. Now, what can I do with that? I'm going to look at those profits and be like, cool, that's what's up. Then I'm going to package the experience. I'm going to take that concept. I'm going to do a case study on everything that I did. I'm going to package that. And now I'm going to sell that. Now, guess what? That $100,000 experience is going to actually make me $1 million now, because I'm going to sell that to 10,000 people. See, that's creativity, right? That's not what's taught in the schools. Nobody can tell you, your parents ain't going to tell you things like that. You understand? They're going to tell you to go to job, get a college degree, things of that nature. But the entrepreneur today, we have access, times, means, and it makes us more effective. We can go a much greater distance in a much shorter time, utilizing our super creative intelligence, which is also known as tapping in.
That part.
Powerful. Is that when people say they tap into the subconscious mind? Is that what you're referring to, Keys?
Well, I don't really like when people say that, because it's like the subconscious mind is a subconscious mind. You understand me? Like you using your conscious mind to say that you tapped into the subconscious mind. And it's more so the unconscious mind. You understand me? Like you letting go of saying you did something and you allowed to just flow. The greatest strength is, I text this to my people today, right? Because I got a text link every day. I'm texting them a different key or some advice, or I'm giving them some resources or something. And today the thought pattern was, look, true strength is not holding on, is letting it go and letting it flow. And it was real simple, because we've been taught to measure things by how much grip we can have on it, right? And what I've learned is the same thing with knowledge. When a person say they don't know nothing, that's because they saying, look, man, I'm just letting it flow. You understand me? I don't know nothing. The moment you start gripping onto things, that's all you got, right? And then when you think about a principle of wealth, the harder the more you have to hold on to a dollar, the more you're going to need it. You understand me? You have to now harness and control the hell out that dollar instead of letting it go, right? And then letting it come back and give you greater return.
That's facts. I tell people, I like to communicate in ways by giving examples, life examples, and people could learn from that. What I noticed with myself is that throughout the course of living is that the times in my life when I was the cheapest and I tried to hold on to my money and I'm in the store, I know I want something, I know I want it, but I just won't get it because I'm scared of letting go of this dollar. When I had that mentality, I noticed the money didn't flow to me that well. But the times when I was real loose with my, people call it loose with my spending, and I was just nonchalant, I felt as though, it's all good. I'll make it again. That's when I noticed the money just kept coming to me. But the people around me would tell me that, oh, you wasted money, or oh, why you bought that? Cost $3. Why would you buy that for $8? So them getting into my mind is the reason why it took me so long to get over that hump in the first place. I get something for $8. I want a organic watermelon drink that costs $7. They telling me, nigga, you crazy. Just get this for $3. So it took me a while to get over that hump. You know what I'm saying? And I was back with that mentality.
You buying time at the same time. Like money is currency, so it has to flow. You understand me? Money is meant to exchange for things of value. We're taught to chase money, but money is not the value, right? The value is what money buys. So I'm going to let it flow, but at the same time, and I think about what is wealth. Wealth is when you have an abundance of assets that greatly outweigh your liabilities, right? And we don't build wealth on balance, right? A lot of people are always trying to balance the books. You understand me? Wealth is about abundance. Having so much, you're not worried about that little spend. So when I see a price of something, I don't think about whether I can afford it. That's just now a goal of mine that I'm gonna get. And I don't actually want to ever think about price. When I think about my rent, I don't want to think about, oh, I got to spend this. I want to think I'm making so much X amount of times way past that rent is no longer an issue. Bills no longer come up in your quandary of thinking and your consciousness. You understand me? Like bills stop so many people from living. Because you have to make decisions based on your financial position, not based on your creative outlet, not based on your imagination, not based on real true freedom. That's why they call it financial freedom, because you are in the bondage of the particular amount of money that you make, your paradigm of thinking. If you make $30,000 a year, then you know how much your cage costs. That's $30,000 cage without restrictions. You understand me? And it's not till you get some more keys, you understand me, to where you learn different ways, because money is a skill. Mm-hmm. You understand me? You ain't got to be the smartest person in the world, but if you have the skill set that they call getting money, then now you know different ways, and you can utilize insurance in ways to where you could put money in particular insurance accounts, and you can and borrow from yourself while that money is still accruing interest. Then take that money and put it into stocks, put it into a stock option. I was showing my students the other day, like, look, if I wanted to buy a PS5, I'm never going to spend my earned income. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the earned income, I'm going to put it on the stock, maybe do a swing trade or an option. It done went up $2,000 in one day. I'm going to take some of that profit and now pay for my liability. You understand me? But I never touched my initial earnings. So when you start thinking of what layer of profit are you even touching right now? Your first layer or your second layer or your third layer, right? And then it start to change the way you do things. You feel me? So my thought process is no longer, yesterday I was up all night till probably about 3, 4 in the morning searching land, right? I'm looking at acres and I found some great deals. But this is now where my mind is at. I can't go, there's nothing below a certain price range to where I'm thinking about, like, that's a no-brainer. When it comes to more decisions like land, what am I going to do on it, how many acres I want to get, right? But when that question comes up, but what can I afford? The simplest thing a person has to do is ask themselves, what am I willing to give in exchange for the things that I want, right? And then once you have your goal, what do I need to know in order to get to that goal? Because once you know what you need to know, then all you have to do is get out your own way and execute. So you identify the goal, and then you identify what you're willing to exchange. Then you identify what you don't know, because those become your blockages, your ignorance. You understand me? So you bridge the gap with knowledge, and then you execute. And I love simple formulas because you told me that one time. You said, man, you're making it sound all magical and positive. But as we can see, the magical positivity, man, works. You understand me? Because I show results. Because I take formulas like that, as we talk about, that's in the air, and I bring them down to earth, and I say, okay, what's the actual knowledge that'll bring that to life? What's the skill set behind that, right? And as my brother Chris Cole say, he say money is the evidence of the exchange of energy. You understand me? What does the government do? It governs mind and mint. It governs the people. It is there simply to govern all transactions of commerce, right? And when we look at their institutions and the way that they set them up, they set it up for people to get money, right? But it doesn't come in, the money aspect don't come from the public education. The money comes from the private education. And this is what most people have never gotten in their life, was a private education. So when we sit there and we go through the web standard and they go through the first module and they're surprised, like, wait, what am I hearing? I ain't never heard this before. They didn't teach this in school. That's a public education. You see, this private education, now we start teaching you how to move as a private citizen in the private sector, how you get some of that private money. There's certain things that will never be shared on the airway because that's not for the public. The public don't appreciate certain things. They will fight you for sharing certain things. They will fight you for saying fuck college. They will fight you for saying fuck the banks, because that's what the public does. It makes them a servant of the public institutions. So we not gonna do that. What we gonna do is we gonna hang the shiny things that the public like. We gonna say, hey, look, I got gold, I got money, I got cars. This is what you working your entire life for. This is what they told you is the thing to get. But guess what? I did that with my private education, right? So for me, I didn't forgot what the initial question was, but you know, that's my thought process as far as where it goes. You know what I'm talking about when it comes to tapping in.
No, indeed. The funny part, not funny part, but the interesting part, I guess you could say, about life is that, you know, as a race and as a culture, you know, we want to gain wealth again. We look at Black Wall Street. We look at, you know, during segregation when we own things and we're like, yeah, I want to get there. But then when you look at people that have money, people that got the bag that we want. I remember one time I was talking to Dame Dash on the phone and he was telling me most of the millionaires he know are miserable. So we look at these people and we're like, yeah, I'm investing stocks, crypto. I'm investing this and that. I'm investing some businesses. I'm gonna have a gym here, or I'm gonna have a music studio here. I'm gonna have some music. You know, we're doing all of this. We done conquered all of everything, and then you're still miserable after that. That's something to really think about. So, what is it that our people are missing that even when they do get that bag, and our people are becoming millionaires, multimillionaires, they're still miserable? What's missing in that equation the most, you would say?
It's two layers to it. One of the layers is the fact that once you get it, you become lonely because everybody else ain't got it, right? That we are a people with zero inheritance. So when you go on this hero's journey, right, and you that 1%, because you are that 1%, once you start making a certain amount, you join the 1% club. Which also means you have this 1% mentality, you have this 1% level of execution, you have this 1% level of knowledge. Even if you try to pass that down to the masses, they don't want it. How many people say that they start even going on that journey, they try to bring people with them, and people are like, nah, I ain't with that. You understand me? So there's a level of loneliness that comes with Black success that we're not talking about, right? And so that particular level of loneliness is when people start utilizing their money for company to bring people with them. And that's detriment to your own success, of course, right? In a sense that allows you to continue to have exponential growth. Because once you get to that point, you're like, damn, I want to take the family. I want to take my peoples with me. So number one, there has to be a cultivated mindset. And this is what we focus on a lot. I believe is 80% mindset, 20% skill set. If you get the right mindset, number one, it's going to let you to have foresight, right, on what your experience is going to be in the first place. You have to, number one, as somebody that's successful in the Black community, you have to be comfortable with being alone, right? There's a certain level of success that you have to learn, like, can I be by myself? If you can do it at your level of poverty, you can do it at your level of success, right? So you have to prepare for that. Like, your mother, your brother, your sister, auntie, cousins, uncles, friends, they're not gonna come with you because their habits gonna be different. So that's gonna veer them in a completely different direction. And you will spend so much energy trying to get them on the right direction, it will exhaust and it will drain the shit out of you.
Yeah, that's facts.
So then what you have to do is you have to find a group or a team of people that are at that level of success, right? Because then you all basically become a therapy group for each other because you're talking about things that the average person cannot relate to, right? Oh man, I didn't make 10,000 this month. I didn't make my $100,000 quota. You can't go to the homies and talk to them about that kind of shit.
No.
They're like, man, get your bougie ass home, man. What you talking about? You understand me? But
Right.
if you go to somebody in that same tax bracket or people that are on their way to that tax bracket or that level of success and that level of accomplishment and goal setting, now you feel like you have a family again. You have a family that's at that level. So we have to also think about these things in tiers of success is that you can be with somebody. There's a cutoff point. They're going to be going with you up here. Then all of a sudden they start slowing down and you keep going. And what you going to do? Stop, come back and get them? No, because they had the opportunity to go with you the whole time. My principle is I believe you only deserve what you work for. You understand me? And oftentimes we start watching people rise to meteoric success and we believe that shit, once they get to a certain point, they're going to help me out. But you watch them the whole time, so you really don't deserve them to help you at all. And if they did help you, you don't have the mindset that they acquired on that particular scale as they were growing. So you're never still not going to be able to see mind to mind with that person. You understand me? So as I continue to grow, I empathize with those who are successful in our community. Because being poor, you have a large amount of company. Everybody's poor, everybody's unsuccessful. But once you get success, it's hard to understand that viewpoint. So you're making different decisions. You're making leadership decisions at that point, right? You're making business large scale decisions. So I think that what we have to do, number one, is what is already happening is you seeing groups of young men and young women that are successful and they forming these masterminds, right? I've started a mastermind. I have a multitude of different ones that I'm a part of to where I go around and it's a different sector to where I might be a little different because I might have their success, but my consciousness is on a whole different level, right? Because then I can go in my conscious ciphers and we can talk about metaphysical things. But see, at a certain level, you start to lose things in common with people. And of course, just anybody that's smart, you gonna bring up some lame shit and they just not gonna be able to have a conversation with you because that's gonna be wasting their brain cells. Jeff Bezos says he make 4 decisions a day because we do have a decision-making battery power to where we can only make so many good decisions per day to where we're burnt out, right? And you need that throughout life because life is just the culmination of your decisions and your habits. So what I look like making one of my decisions is hanging with you, and you don't want to talk about wealth. You don't want to talk about these plans to where we can change Black America and putting together these institutions and these concepts so that the next generation win for 10, 20, 30 years. We have mental myopia. Mental myopia in the eyes is when you can't see a long distance, right? And then if you can't see a long distance, it also goes to the mind where you can't see too far, you're in survival. No, I just need to get paid for next week. Tell me something I can do right now when they gave you a 6-month plan and that 6-month guaranteed to come about if you're alive. They give you a 12-month plan. You come back around, the anniversary of that 12-month plan come, you didn't do none of that because you was living on your day-to-day, week-to-week. So now guess what? You need another day-to-day, week-to-week plan. So with the homeostasis, people don't want to change. We fight against change so much as if it's not something to celebrate.
But we say we want it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for somebody like Dame Dash and his friends, you know, if you lack a vision or a trajectory, right? If you're not mentally scaling something that's far surpassing, you know, this amount of time that you have to spend money, right? Or even this particular lifetime, you're gonna get bored. And those people ultimately end up being miserable because there's a small sector of people that they share commonality with, like Keys was talking about. But, you know, if you got a vision to say, oh, I want to build out, you know, institution for community, things of that nature, you're always going to have something that's going to engage you, even if it's in your own dreams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then you have this concept of build it and they will come, right? Because yeah, ultimately, you know what I'm saying, those people they end up miserable, you know, because they don't have that, you know, once they expend that core network of friends or families that they have, then they don't have community. You know what I mean? But you know, everybody don't have vision. Everybody doesn't have, you know, the inner inclinations to want to build community or things of that nature. That's not normal.
Yo, Blue, when you know how we say everybody is a reflection of the Godhead or God potential or the universe or whatever, Allah, whatever. We're all like apertures of divinity. Whenever I get a reading throughout the years, like when I get readings from there's this one sister, I forget her name, and we would just talk about energy or whatever, and she's like, oh, yeah, you got a God energy. Everybody don't have that. They always tell me everybody don't have, because we go around telling each other we kings and queens, but when you talk to the spiritualists, they're like, hell no. We ain't all, they be like, hell no, we ain't all kings and queens.
You know what my daddy,
Huh?
no, my daddy always told me?
What?
He said, God damn it, somebody had to build the pyramids. Everybody wasn't kings or queens, so you need to cut that out. I stopped that a long time.
But
He said everybody's like, it was only one pharaoh at a time. So all you niggas part of that bloodline. He's like, only the pharaoh bloodline made it back. There was only one butt on the throne at a time. But all you niggas is bloodlines of pharaohs, huh?
But think about that. When we
So
look
who
at
built the pyramid?
DNA manifests itself. You understand me? Like, you're not going in reality, right? We call each other in being nice, right? We call each other kings and queens as a form of upliftment because we're not acting as kings and queens, right? And so we utilize that as a form of upliftment. But you're not going to tell that brother that's on drugs that he a king and you believe it. You're not going to tell brother that's homeless that's on drugs and you believe it, or brother that's beating his wife and that's not taking care of his responsibilities, not taking care of his kids. You're not a king. We have different frequencies and vibrational statuses that if you could look at the aura of each individual, you're going to see something different. And the results of who they become dictate whether they really are God or king or queen. You can't dictate that for somebody. They got to manifest that. You understand me? So when you look at the totality of somebody's life, you ain't going to see a person that didn't manifest royalty and be like, damn, he was a king. How you know? He didn't live like it. He didn't manifest a king's legacy.
Yeah. You can impress something upon someone else because, right, I guess in Kemet they say that the heka, right, the power of the word is almost magical. So, you know, the concept is that innately, you know, there might be something in someone that might respond to your calling or your word. You know, you have the ability to wake something up or connect with something that's in somebody that's dormant in sleep. You know what I'm saying? But that's not across the board as we can see. You feel me? It's only the few, yeah, a very select few at that.
Yeah, man, it's just it's just a great, interesting conversation to have. I hope people were able to learn tonight from a lot of things that were being said. We started it out on the right tone. I mean, it's funny, but it's true with Dan Pena. What are you going to tell your grandchildren when they ask you, well, what when 2020 was, everybody's going to talk about 2020, 20 years from now, 30 years, 40 years from now. They're going to say, well, what was you doing, mom? What was you doing, dad? What was you doing, uncle? What was you doing, auntie? And we're going to have to look back at this time and we're going to have to say, yo, I was either doing this, I was doing that, I was bullshitting, I was looking at memes, making fun of Nate Robinson and, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to decide.
I mean, the funny thing is that me and Keys was having this conversation in the summertime in Atlanta when we were, you know, in the trenches, going door to door, you know, feeding people's families and, you know what I'm saying, doing 6 figures with the company monthly, you know what I mean? And doing the most. Doing the most. We was like, you know, what are these people that are online that are being critical or just doing nothing? Like, how you gonna explain, this to your children? Because they're observing as well. Like, Daddy, you wasn't tapping in. You know what I'm saying? Not so much, oh, you wasn't out there marching, because that's what the masses connected to, the multitudes connected to putting on their marching shoes. You feel me? But where was the other mobilization? Oh, you was campaigning for Biden in 2020. That's how you spent your whole year? Because I don't hear nothing else from them people. Like, they got hella quiet. They back on quarantine. You feel me? And I'm just like, you build all that energy up just for that? Just for that. That's what your 2020 consisted of. You got a sticker. That's what's going in your scrapbook for 2020. I voted.
They got Donald Trump out of office, man. They proud.
Man, this is crazy. Listen, man.
They proud.
The activist community definitely and a lot of them know myself, a lot of them know Blue, a lot of them know a lot of people, man. And I know it gotta kick them sometime, right? Because I had a lot of them admit they like, man, you got one of the greatest minds. And it's like, how can you say that and not do the same things then? How can you say that and say the moves that we making are the right moves to make, and that you believe and you align with this thought process, but you not aligned with it because your actions are different? You working for the public realm because you believe that this agenda is finally gonna manifest because you a part of it now, right? And the reality of it is that we are outworking you in the realm of being effective, right? See, this is that difference with that creative work and that smart work. You understand me? To where we look at the old model of what a revolution is and what an activist is, the picket, you understand me, out there with the signs, getting locked up and arrested by these cops multiple times and calling that the front lines. That's not the reality. The front lines is where you're the most effective in bringing solutions to Black America. And wherever you are most effective, that's the Black line. That's the front line. And right now, the front line, if we want to be 100% honest, is in the digital space. See, we romanticize third dimensional reality, right? But as we looking at it, it's the remote control. You understand me? The white man ain't going door to door taking the minds of our people. He ain't out there canvassing, controlling. He has multi-layer, multi-dimensional systems that control us. So if we're not getting in there multi-dimensional layer systems and building these institutions and utilizing our means such as the internet to reach our people, then we're doing a disservice because we want to look like a revolutionary instead of be one. And those are two completely different things. Because I put my resume of what I done did this year against anybody that said that they somebody. And they wouldn't have nothing to say because not only I'm gonna come with sound mind, I'm gonna come with sound results. And I can show you the effectiveness on how we've changed the trajectory of Black family life in America. You understand me? So we got to change and celebrate. And this is how the next generation gonna know what to do. Because I hear these young activists out there crying because of what the rappers are not doing and things of that nature. And it's like, but you just got a platform with hundreds of thousands of people on it, but you don't want to take the time to educate yourself because you were taught that being out there in the streets yelling at the police is the most effective thing to do, when you actually have the means right now to reach and actually change people's lives so that they won't actually get caught up in the system. Because we had about a goddamn billion people yelling at one particular person to make a change in a case that they wouldn't do. So obviously, if there was ever a time to show you that the activism was not effective, 2020 has showed you that.
Right.
We think
look at the aggregate
get more people
efficiency
to try
of
to
the
do
amount
something
of
unsuccessfully or successful. Right. That's not the reality. The less people that do something and have a large impact and success. We had the most people of any time in the history of the civil rights movement fail all at once.
Right. So they said that this was the biggest mass demonstration since 1968. That's the year the King died. You feel me? You were able to utilize media to mobilize the multitudes of millions, okay? The multitudes of millions into the streets with no results, right? Because the cop officers who killed Breonna Taylor are still not locked up. You dig what I'm saying? And homie that shot George Floyd, he's freed up at this particular time. So when we talk about aggregate efficiency, when we talk about these concepts of the input versus output, how much energy did you put into that and what did you get from it? A lot of people wasted their time, right? And in street terms, we could say that they blew the bag. You feel me? So how do we properly assess this? You know what I mean? Because they didn't even engage the politics. They didn't get no political favors. They ain't twist no politicians' arms. You know what I'm saying? They didn't pivot. They didn't use none of what they was doing to mobilize the vote to get any arrests. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like it was a monumental fail, and it's going to be looked at like that in the future. You know, there's certain things that we can look at and say, okay, melanated women mobilize, right? We see their effectiveness in terms of getting out the vote, right? And being able to latch on to a topic and execute, right? But at the same time, you know, when you step back and you say, well, goddamn, where's that love for the quote unquote leadership in the community? Where's that type of love and mobilization, you know, for the people who do have solutions and concepts and ideals and vision, right? Where's the concerted effort around those individuals to amplify their voices, right? It never happened. So it's like, what are they really in this for? You know what I'm saying? What are they really in this for?
Because we spend an entire lifetime trying to get noticed, right? And even in our old age, sometimes,
right?
Yeah, we want recognition. And here's the unfortunate thing, like once you don't get it, and we talked about this before, you go forever seek it. If you don't get properly recognized, you're going to forever seek it to the day you die that you want to be properly recognized. Even at the detriment that maybe somebody else should have the platform and the stage right now other than you. Because what happens oftentimes is, and what's happening right now is that you may see some of our elders getting recognized as they should. But in reality, there may be somebody that could be a lot more effective for our people to be paying attention to. And because they finger ain't on the pulse, they don't know who to continue their legacy through. You understand me? And so like we are people that ain't never been seen. We are people that just want to be heard. We are people that want to be recognized. We want some attention. We want our legacy solidified. But that usually comes at the cost of the next generation. It comes at the cost of freedom, justice, equality, and equity. So if we never had that before, we can't say we've actually, as a collective, as a people, done what we're supposed to do yet. We can say individuals have brought us the solutions of what we're supposed to do. Some people have done it, but the way we move as a cultural unit is completely wrong. And the Nate Robinson is the latest effect of how we can make bullshit go viral, but we can never make the solutions go viral.
It's amazing.
And those people would take their whole platform with 1 million followers and they will make fun of a man, but they would never utilize their platform to uplift a black man for free. But they'd clown your ass for free. They'd be on some nigga shit for free, but then they go come back and say, no, I need a whole contract if I'm gonna push that out to my people. I'm not pushing that shit. You understand me? So we are backwards ass people, and we deserve a lot of the things that come to us because that's not the white man making us make fun of him. He's not saying we have to make fun of Nate Robinson and we should focus on that, and that's how we should flood the gates, because you're not gonna see Asians do that when they get whooped by a black man. You never go see that in the history of the Asian community.
Or the Mexican.
In the history of the Mexican community, in the Indian community, in the white community, in the Russian, in the German, whatever the hell community that you want to look at. You when what you call it lost to Floyd, what's his name, Pacquiao?
Yeah.
The Filipinos was behind him still. Right. What are you saying? He going back to a parade. If Floyd would have lost, he would have had to go into a cave. So we backwards in the things that we should be doing, and we go say, well, it's just fun. He shouldn't have gotten boxing. You don't understand. This is symbolic. When they look at the people and see that they still doing the same exact thing, they haven't changed culturally, even with all of this shit that we done went through this year. You go celebrate a black man who already had a success in the NBA, who obviously liked to take journeys because he went and tried out for the Eagles, you understand me, in football, and now he's decided to try his hand at boxing. And here's a black man that put himself on a public display fearlessly we should all be applauding that, or at least be silent, or keep it to ourselves in private and make our jokes and fun with the homies. But don't air out family business in front of everybody else like that. Don't make no sense. Ain't no wealth built in that.
And you clowning, he got knocked out by Caucasian? We sharing that? Like we said,
The activists,
you know what I'm saying? I'm
activists
totally bewildered, bro. Like,
Oh, the activists sharing that, huh? I
the
didn't know
activists
that.
are the ones they couldn't wait to go out there and make fun of a black man. His own teammates were making fun of him. They in the NBA.
Damn.
You understand me? And the point of that is this: you can go and you can be a so-called activist, but if you don't protest against you being a nigga first, anything else you do don't matter. As Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, community development begins with self-development. And most people won't protest against their own nigga behavior. You won't protest against your weaknesses and your flaws. You understand me? But you will go out in the street and protest against somebody else's. So everything has to start within, because you can have a resume of doing this for 60 years. But then if you still a jackass and a nigga to your people, then goddamn it sound like we need to boycott you and you need to be on the opposite end with the police. So we got to stop making heroes of people that are villains in our community in reality in the way that they utilize their platforms, because that's destructive. So, you know, I had to make sure I found something positive to say during that time, because I hit the brother up. And I told him, like, man, that's commendable. He said, yeah, I just want to, you know, show my children that, you know, it's okay to take risk in life and like do more. And I'm like, that's what's up, because on the opposite side of fear is real life. And he like, damn, man, 100% agree. You know what I'm talking about? So for me, I see a black man doing something because I knew he was taking a risk. I knew that white boy was already a boxer. So I know he wasn't going in there with full confidence, I'm just going to win. It was going in there, I'm going to be courageous and try it. And most of us will never try out that course or that product or that service or that education or that skill or that dream or that goal because you fearful. Most fights are lost before you get in the ring, not in the ring. You understand? It takes heart to get in that ring in front of everybody, and you could possibly lose. It takes a lot of heart, and the average person ain't been in no real fight in their life. You feel me? And so Black America has to applaud, number one, winning and fighting and applaud each other, and also realize that, you know, we got to stop canceling people for losing. Like we got this weird thing to where we lose once in our community and you done forever, but we get white folks 1,000 times. People love Donald Trump, and how many times he lost? How many times he had? How many? He just lost the presidential election. They still love him. You understand me? How many times he done lost with bankruptcies and things of that nature? How many different companies have done that? You get a black person one loss in front of our community and they gone forever. So. And nobody is infallible. And that's the hero's journey, is to take your losses, get back up, brush them off, and keep on moving. But sometimes after a loss, we kill each other. Don't even give them an opportunity to fight again.
Indeed, my brother. Listen, why don't y'all give the people your contact info, how to reach y'all before we get out of here so they could hit y'all up.
You can text me at 323-577-6692. Every day I send like a daily update, a key. Tomorrow I'm about to send everybody these resources to where they can buy land. If you was trying to get in any of the courses, I'm gonna send out one last link tomorrow to the courses so that you can tap in. We close Tuesday. If you want to get gold, you can text the word gold to my text link. If you want to get in the Wealth Standard, you can text the word black for if you still want to get that Black Friday. But you can find me on YouTube at 19 Keys. You can find me on Instagram at 19_keys. Yeah, man, you can find me somewhere tapping in. But as a last word, 2021 is a dangerous year, and we got to be training. This year was dangerous. You understand me? See, when you train, one of the words for training is to qualify oneself. You understand me? So what we do is we give financial training, right? When the brothers on here spitting and they speaking and they doing their Kundalini retreats, that's spiritual training, right? When we working out, we got people on the sports moss, right? So that they can go in there and train and have increased endurance, right? We want you to train and we want you to be at your highest, but we don't want you to be soft targets, because in times of chaos, what activates is your highest level of training. You understand me? But if you have no training, the crash happens, You don't have any financial knowledge to back you up. You don't know how to set up your affairs in order. You get stopped by the police. You don't have any, you understand me, training in the law. You don't have any physical training to where you willing to die for something and step in. You are a soft target. A soft target is considered women and children. So specifically to the men, you have a responsibility not only to yourself, but to your family, that if you know that there's knowledge that exists that can help your children and yourself in a better position, and you don't get that knowledge, don't go to your children and tell them you love them, because love is a duty and you ain't handling your responsibilities. 2021, we ain't playing games with people. It's going to be a checklist for everything for Black America to have no excuses to be like, all right, you got your life insurance, you got your essential products, you got your stocks, you got your diversified portfolio, you're backed by gold, you this, that, and the third. And if you ain't got those things together, and it's 100% your fault. So I just want you to go look in the mirror and be like, damn, I'm fucking up my own life. Don't worry about that white devil, that 400 years of oppression. Don't worry about none of that. There's a checklist that can get our shit together. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sir. Goldwater.com, GOLDEWATER is where you can find Goldwater and the Goldwater products. Again, we do have a sale currently going on right now, Cyber Monday, for the Quarantine Pack 2.
What's the code? What's the code? Let me give him a promo code. I'm gonna do this for Rich. I'm gonna give him a promo code. You know, we only do one sale per year.
Look, Richard Virgo, right?
Oh,
we had a whole conversation the other day about how essential Virgos are, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the magic of business. So shout out to the Virgos.
All right. If you utilize the code Limitless, if you don't know how to spell Limitless, then you need to go Google it. I'm not gonna tell you. Limitless, text Limitless to or actually just utilize that at checkout. That's gold with an E, GOLDE, water.com. So we have a multitude of products, not just the gold water. We have nootropics, we have our Crowns oil, we have our sports muscles. Really, to me, is the product that I'm on like crazy every single day. That one has cordyceps, which activates adenosine triphosphate, which increases the energy in your muscles while you're working out. So you're gonna have a crazy workout. It's almost like a natural steroid. And it also decreases lactate acid buildup, which have you sore after the workout. So not only you'll be going harder, but you're actually gonna be recovering much quicker so you can go back in again.
Facts. All right, so that's goldwater.com. And we also have the drip, all right? The Sabi Genesis and the rest of them available at cosmicdust.com. That's spelled COZMIKDUST.com. And my mama, she'll twist my arm if I don't tell y'all that we got T-Moss available, and that can be found. Well, you can go to greenleaf-herbs.com. She said she got a different site that she's putting up tomorrow with that, but I'm sure that they'll be linked in. All right, but nonetheless, I want to say thank you, Brother Rich. Shout out to Cambada and Lux. That single is fire. I can't wait to hear more of the project. I'm looking forward to it. Slave to the Master. All right, feeling that. And yeah, salute, you know, to all of the viewers. You know what I'm saying?
Rich, man. Salute to y'all.
Yes. Appreciate you. Appreciate the Black Magic platform. All right. And please, you know, absorb
Brother,
this information.
I gotta send you something, man. I came out with a product. I came out with a product. It called Soul Ties, and I'm gonna send it to you. Send me your address. What it is it's 19 different spiritual cards, and it's different activities on there that you play, and each one will allow you to have a deeper spiritual connection with your partner, or you can utilize it for yourself, right? Blue played it. He was one of the first to play it with a lady, and he had a fantastic testimonial.
Hold on.
Hey,
all right, Blue.
let
Look, relationship
the right way.
Hold on, bro.
No, I wasn't doing it like that. He added the sound effect that made it sound, you know, different.
You preferenced it. You can have, this is about relationships, right? You have soul contracts and relationships with your friends, with your significant other, with your parents, you know what I'm saying? with all different type of people that you have relationship with, and it strengthens relationships because we all have soul ties. We all have that particular soul exchanges. These cards come highly recommended. You know what I'm saying? Because I was able to learn more about this person in a short amount of time that I've known a person over 10 years. And we never had that direct conversation. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, you know, things are just like this. But when you have an opportunity to have a direct exchange, you know, that flow is that even much better. So
Yeah.
those
So
I'm
gonna send them because we might be sold out, but I want you to get it because I want to see what your testimonial is, man. People that I know like in like couples and things of that nature as well. But you can play with somebody who's not a couple, of course, and it comes with a box, our Tula box, because it has spiritual tools that come with it, like candles, sage, crystal. Comes with like a little smudge cup. It comes with a aura spray. It comes with a multitude of different things. The box is 119. You understand me? You get the soul tie cards. Y'all can be a part of the first 248 people to get them. Once they're gone, I actually won't be selling the card separately, probably sometime later in spring. You understand me? At 2021. So y'all will be a part of the first, you understand me, beta group to actually get them. So just wanted to throw that out there, man. I'll be having so many projects. I'll be forgetting about them sometime.
I see, man. You a busy brother, man. You busy, man. Damn. Keys don't play.
Man,
listen, man, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Blue Pill, always a pleasure having you on the show, my brother. This is Brother Rich.
Yeah, shout out to Kibalon. Today's his born day as well.
Oh, shout out to Kibalon. Yeah, shout out my brother. Yeah,
good brother.
Yeah,
you know
shout out. Yo, he's a twin also, right? A Kibalon.
Yeah, twin as well. It's a Gemini. Tonight is or going into tomorrow at 4:44. They'll be experiencing a lunar eclipse. This is a Gemini full moon, and we're experiencing an eclipse as well, setting up for December 14, which is this total solar eclipse, which was set up for December 21st. So these are some interesting times that we're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You seen the Mike Tyson? You seen the fight?
Yeah, I seen it. Okay.
Your thoughts?
Mike,
got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Roy Jones played it smart. He kept holding Tyson up. Roy played it real smart. Mike come with them powerful body shots, man. Like it's like a bulldozer or something, man.
And,
but Mike,
I mean, in comparison, you know, because I vividly remember a couple of Mike's last fights leading up to his retirement and how sloppy and uncoordinated he was. You know, this was vintage Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like Mike was still in rare form for a 50-plus-year-old, but this particular exhibition will be able to teach the younger generation the principles. You know what I'm saying? I think that, you know, he taught the rudimentary principles of boxing and form, but endurance was the main principle that was taught. You know what I'm saying? This was not just about the endurance in the ring. This was about the endurance of these men being champions in their 50s and still be able to put on as professionals, right? With a level of professionalism that eerily has been missing from, because within the first round or two, I'm like, I see more shots thrown and punches landed than I have in the last 2 years of boxing. More contact. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was holding, like initially they was getting it on. A Mayweather fight, you'd have been seeing him run around the ring for the first 5 rounds. You dig what I'm saying? So I appreciate, you know, the fact that we were able to see that level of endurance and professionalism, and the fact that, you know, Mike spoke about being a humanitarian and utilizing his skill set to bring attention and focus to, you know, foundations and, you know what I'm saying, getting the bag and giving it to people. You know, that's wonderful. They could go around the whole world doing that. You know what I mean? So,
facts,
you know, we should do some humanitarian lectures at some point.
No, indeed. Mike is our inspiration. Definitely inspired by Mike. Always have been inspired by the brother Mike Tyson, man. But
Roy just needed a little sports mall, so he'd have been all right.
A little more, huh?
Yeah, I seen, when you see that look in somebody's eyes when they like, oh shit, what did I get into?
Yeah, he had that look. Roy had that
Roy
look.
did have that.
Oh,
like,
Roy had that
man,
look.
he hit me with one more of these things. Damn.
Roy couldn't wait for that shit to
what did I sign up for? Oh,
man.
Tyson still standing. Tyson standing like one of them pit bulls that's ready.
Bro, Tyson was ready to go 8 more rounds.
Yeah,
after
he
the
had
fight,
more
man.
in him.
this. Roy had to
Roy
get
was
that
like-
last breath in and then realize, oh, I got this last breath has to last for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
When that realization hit him, you seen it in his eyes where he's like, oh my God.
No,
But
that's facts,
he
man.
still triumphantly in those last 2 to 3 rounds came out and fought his fight. So
Yeah.
even though initially you seen that look in his eye, he was still able to find his second win and his confidence to still fight the fight, you know what I'm saying, and not just tap out. So that was a wonderful display, you know what I mean, about how 2 men can pull their skill sets together, you know what I'm saying, for the benefit of humanity, you know what I'm saying, or a more nobler cause, right? Because fighting is barbaric in that particular respect. But they was able to alchemicalize that process by saying, this is a way that we can bring back the good into the world. So I'm really loving the transformation of this brother Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's full circle because 20 years ago, I was with Mike. I was just who I was working with. That's what I was running with, you know what I'm saying? And he was a total different individual, you know what I'm saying, than we seeing now. So shout out to transformation is possible, y'all. You know what I mean? And professionalism will always win. All right.
Indeed. On that note, family, somebody says, I think Snoop did a good job commentating. Somebody said he could have did a better job. I think he did a good job commentating.
Snoop was Snoop, man. Snoop did. There's nothing more Snoop can do. That's what he was. I'm not sure. What more do you want from Snoop? I mean, Snoop did Snoop thing. He came up there, performed. He was the best commentator they could have got, man. I don't think you would have got anything better than that. You can't ask more than Snoop to be himself. That's all you can ask him to do.
Even how they let Snoop was smoking, some of the commentators were using so-called curse words. You can see the shift in how they're doing things now. They try to keep up with the collective consciousness because Trump got rid of all of this politically correct shit. So people are much more looser in how they act. They're cursing, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like you see the shift in the culture happening right now, man.
Think about the juxtaposition, right? Because Kevin Hart attempted to do something that's politically correct, right? Stiff and stoic. Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
You're living in the post-Trump world. Like if you're not willing to let it all hang out, you feel me? You're not going to connect with this audience.
You got to let people see the real raw so that they can have relatability to you.
Yeah.
And without that level of relatability, especially while people going through things, they don't want to hear from you. They don't want to hear from you. They want to feel like that's my friend, that's my homie up there. You feel me?
The LGBT community done scared the shit out of Kevin Hart.
Yeah, man, he don't want to say nothing.
He's scared shitless right now. I'm not trying to come at the brother. Shout out Kevin Hart. I just think,
No, I mean, he get attacked from anything that he do right now. He gonna get attacked from, and he gotta, he put himself in a very small corner with all of his massive success, and that's a huge lesson for anybody and everybody. That he didn't became that massively successful, but he has no control and no power really. You understand me? And that's the scariest place.
That's some depressing shit. That's depressing, man.
It gotta be the worst place that you could possibly be at.
That must be what Dame Dash was talking about.
Yes.
That place right there.
Right.
You got hundreds of millions of dollars, but you're controlled by people and their opinions. You understand me? And you are a person that I'm sure has a thought process that's completely different than what you put out in the public. Really, you want to say, fuck all y'all, what y'all talking about. You understand me? I think like this, but you have to cut and carve so much of yourself for the politically correct algorithm. Otherwise, you gonna get in trouble every single time you say something. And he realized like, shit, my goddamn, his assistant was gay. And then she talked to somebody else that was gay. And then this person learned that this was gay. And then he realized his whole world was controlled by gay and Jewish people.
And then you're like, oh shit. Damn it, the people I'm thinking I'm talking to my people, but these are the people I gotta please in order to stay in business. And then he realized who his life was really owned and controlled by. When he was happy that he had influence in our culture and we were supporting him because he had some funnies. But then the people that run your life that's close to you, 9 to 5, the people that you offending is the people who running your business and making you successful. So he had to shut the hell up because they was gonna shut him out. And it was point blank. His own peoples was turning on him.
It's crazy, man. Well, it's a new world. The realm is the digital realm. I'm glad that brothers are able to maintain their integrity and get the bag at the same time at this time and not depend on these industries that, like I said, don't have our best interests at heart. Family, the time is now. Don't wait no longer. Tonight, before you go to bed, say something. Talk to your subconscious or your unconscious, like he said, and tell it what you wanted to perform. And it will do the work for you while you sleep. And when you wake up tomorrow, it'll instruct you where to go, who to talk to, and how to do it, family. So start with tonight, family. Don't wait no longer. It's a good night. The moon is beautiful. Everybody's saying there's a halo around the moon. Start tonight. Let's make this happen, family. And I guess with that being said, Brother Rich, 19 Keys, Blue